Hi everyone. Welcome to the free masterclass on the 3 steps to make money online as a recruiter, even if you have zero experience. I'm so happy that you're here and I'm honored that you decided to click on my offer. I know that your time is valuable and you could literally be doing anything else right now, but you decided to come and listen to me. So I'm very, very grateful. I promise that I will make great use of your time and that I will teach you something of value. I already feel like we have something in common because if my messaging spoke to you, I'm assuming that you're interested in making money online, possibly starting a side hustle to supplement your income, and maybe you even have dreams of becoming a full-on entrepreneur, working for yourself. Which means that you are definitely my people because that is exactly what I set out to do a few years ago and it completely changed my life. Now, let me remind you what you will be learning in today's masterclass. I will be teaching you how to make money online. Now, there's a million ways to make money online. There's affiliate marketing, Shopify, Etsy, dropshipping, content creation, blogging. I mean, the list is just endless. What I specialize in and what I will be teaching you today is specifically how to make money online as an online recruiter. So we'll get into exactly what that means a little bit later, but essentially, recruiting is finding candidates for companies. It's really as simple as that. The company needs to hire someone. You find a candidate that would like to work for that company likes the candidate, and they hire them. So recruitment is essentially matchmaking between organizations and job seekers. Why did I choose this specific business model when there are so many other ways to make money online? Because it's lucrative, meaning you can make a lot of money. And I will give you more details on that later because honestly, money is one of my favorite topics. I also chose online recruitment because there's a huge need for it. Companies are constantly hiring, and because this business model is online, you have no geographical barriers limiting your client or candidate pools. Lastly, the ramp up getting into this business is very short, meaning that you can go from zero knowledge on the subject to extremely proficient in 8 weeks. All of those reasons made it a no-brainer for me to start an online recruitment business and to become an online recruiter. So I'm going to teach you how to do the same. I will teach you how to work from home or from anywhere where you get Wi-Fi, as long as you have your laptop and a good connection, to uncap your income potential and to work your schedule around your life and what's important to you. Okay. Let's set ourselves up for success because I want you to get every ounce of value that you can get out of this free masterclass. I want you to come out of this class with information and a plan to get out there and to change your life. So I do recommend that you set aside all distractions. Putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, letting your family or your roommates know that you're investing in yourself at the moment and to let you just absorb this info. I know it's super tempting to scroll on social media and multitask, but I literally want to teach you how to make considerable money online, and I promise it will be worth your full attention. Okay, so I want you to take a moment and have some introspection about what you want and where you're currently at in this journey. You don't need to send this answer in or anything. It's really just for you to visualize where you are in the present moment. Most of the people that reach out to me and want help in building an online business and making money online usually find themselves in one of these 3 categories. Are you at the curious stage, where you don't really love your current work situation and you think that making money online could be a good fit for you? Or are you at the so ready stage where you're already fully sold on the idea of starting your own online business? You want to remove all limitations on your earning potential and you want to work when and where you want, and basically you just need the tools to get started. Or are you at the third stage that I often see, which is you've actually tried earning money online? You've clicked on the social media bait to join these MLMs where they tell you you can become a millionaire by posting 7-second reels and working 2 hours a day from your phone, but it just hasn't quite worked for you. Maybe you've already spent time and money on these other side hustles and it didn't really pan out. So now you want to find a solid, proven methodology that you know will work. So which of these 3 categories sounds like you? By the way, prior to starting my own online recruitment business, I had tried many other side hustles. There's no shame in it. I wanted to quit my corporate grind. I wanted to make money online. So I tried a bunch of stuff before I actually found something that worked and was sustainable. Speaking of what I've done, maybe I should go ahead and introduce myself. Hi, my name is Gina Ore. I am a Canadian living in Montreal. I'm a mom of 2 wonderful little kids. I love reality TV and true crime podcasts, and I hate working out. I do like socializing in very small doses, but I am definitely an introvert. However, I love people and I love to hear of others succeeding. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in human resources. I also have a graduate diploma in business administration, as well as an MBA with a specialization in management consulting. I'm also a university or college lecturer, and I teach recruitment and HR at the undergraduate level. Prior to starting my own business, I was a corporate girly working for big multinational companies, always in HR and recruitment. I traveled the world, worked many hours, and I climbed the corporate ladder, and I actually really liked my job. I never really questioned the corporate life because it's just what you did. You went to school, got a job, you worked hard, gave lots of hours, and you were recognized with promotions and opportunities. And it actually wasn't until I started having kids that I really questioned my lifestyle. I remember coming home from work, so working all day while my kids were elsewhere, and driving home in traffic, only to barely make it home to put my kids to bed. And that was all I saw of them during the weekdays. I would count down the days till the weekend so that I could actually spend time with them. I can't count how many times I would break down crying sitting in my car on my commute home because I missed my babies. And I realized they were growing up and I was missing it. These were times that I was not going to be able to get back. This was also a time that I was neglecting myself. I had stopped working out. I had stopped doing the things that made me happy. I didn't have any hobbies. I didn't have time for them. I would be gone 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I would get home and barely be able to keep up with housework and just the never-ending to-do list of having a family and a household. I felt like I was constantly running, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I felt like a hamster on a hamster wheel, and I desperately wanted to get off. But I had a good job. I had climbed the ladder, and I was making 6 figures. I had health insurance. I had a pension plan. I was pretty much set, and it was terrifying to give that up. So that's when I tried the side hustles. I figured, okay, if I can get something going on the side and get that to build up, I could transition into jumping ship and becoming a full-on entrepreneur without having to put all of my eggs in one basket and kind of sink or swim. I tried blogging, I tried Etsy, I tried a bunch of different side hustles, and I spent so many hours going down the YouTube rabbit hole trying to figure out how to make money online. But honestly, none of them worked. And I know that all of those can work, but they didn't for me, and they don't for a lot of people. So I was super discouraged and I felt like I had already wasted a ton of time that I didn't have, not to mention the money I spent on these side hustles. And then it came to me. Online recruitment. The idea had been pretty much staring me in the face because I had been a recruiter, but it had actually never occurred to me to turn that into a business. And so I started recruiting online. I started off slow because I'm actually not much of a risk taker. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to fall flat on my face like I did with some of the other ideas that I had tried. And honestly, I made mistakes. And looking back on it, I could have done things differently or more efficiently. But I learned from those mistakes and I developed a framework that works. So in 2021, I quit my corporate job and jumped into the world of entrepreneurship with both feet. Fast forward to today, my online business allows me to work from home, to be with my kids, to have time for myself, to prioritize my mental health and wellness, to have a schedule that's optimal for me, and to be financially independent. The 6 figures that I make now while in my pajamas at home with my loved ones is worth so much more for me than the 6 figures I was making at my old corporate job. This journey has changed my life so much, and I'm so eager to share this framework with you because it's replicable, it's shareable, and that is what I want to share with you today. Now, I want you to imagine what it would feel like to have unlimited earning potential. Maybe right now you have a boss that decides how much money you make. Maybe you have a set salary, or maybe it's an hourly wage. Maybe you even work on tips, so someone else is really deciding how much money you earn. Whether it's a fixed number or it fluctuates, someone else is deciding that for you. Or maybe you're not currently working and the number coming in is 0 or whatever the government thinks that you should get. Imagine if what you earned was up to you. Imagine if it was based on what you put in to your business. What would that feel like for you? Now, imagine how much your life would change if you would be able to prioritize what was truly important to you. What if you could prioritize working out for an hour every day before even thinking about work? What if you could decide that a 2-day weekend isn't for you? Maybe you want a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend. What if you only wanted to work evenings because you want to spend your days outside or volunteering for causes that are important to you? Or what if you just like waking up late? What would that freedom feel like? How much would your health, your well-being, your family life improve if you weren't stressing out about money and time management? What if you were able to get your housework done because you worked from home and you worked flexible hours? How would that positively impact your family life? This is what I daydreamed about before starting my online recruitment business. These were the goals that I was hoping to achieve. What are you most excited about when you think about creating your online business? It may be similar to what got me excited, or it may be something totally different. But flexibility in money can certainly get a lot of people excited. Okay, enough daydreaming for now. Let's get into the core of this masterclass, where I will be teaching you the 3 steps to making money online as a recruiter, just like I do. The first step is to find your niche. A niche is basically what you will specialize in. As I mentioned, as recruiters, our job is to find candidates for employers that are looking to hire. Your niche will be the industry or profession that you want to specialize in. For example, you could specialize in administration, finance, transportation, plumbing, any profession or industry out there that people are hired for, you can specialize in. And because I'm sure you're wondering right now if you need to be an expert in that profession or industry, or if you need to have any experience with it, the answer is no. You do not have to have worked in that industry or have experience with those types of jobs to be able to recruit for them. I will show you exactly how you'll be able to do that. So we'll dig into how you can choose your niche to make sure that it's a profitable one for you. Step 2, we will learn how to find clients. Now, when I say clients, those are the organizations or companies that I was referring to earlier that want to hire candidates. So any company within your chosen niche that wants to hire employees will be a potential client for you. And we will learn how you can acquire them as a client so that they can start paying you. This piece was honestly the scariest piece for me when I started out, because although I had recruited before, I had never had to go out and find my own clients. So this was a really daunting task, and I tried a bunch of different ways, and I'm going to give you the best way to do this. The third and final step to making money online as a recruiter, once you've figured out your niche and once you've found your clients, is to find them candidates. So basically finding the job seekers that want a job that match with the job that your client has to offer, and then making that connection. It really is as simple as that. Okay, there's a few sub-steps that we'll get into, but in a nutshell, guys, find what you want to specialize in. So find your piece of the pie, find who needs your help, so the companies that are hiring, and then find them the candidates that they want. Okay, am I making it sound too easy? Let's get back to basics to make sure that we are crystal clear on the foundation. I keep talking about online recruitment, but what is that exactly? I explained that recruitment is basically finding qualified candidates for organizations that are looking to hire. Recruiters sometimes directly work for those companies. They're full-time employees of that organization. They can work on site at that company and find employees for them. Sometimes companies outsource the recruitment portion, which means they hire freelance recruiters that don't work for them. So they don't have to come in, they don't have a 9 to 5 and recruit in their offices. But these freelance recruiters often work from home or from their own offices. Online recruitment simply means that you are doing this recruitment process online. So you are utilizing the internet and different digital platforms. If you've recently looked for a job in the last few years, the odds are you use the internet to apply to these jobs. A career in online recruitment also means that you never have to work from an office. As long as you have your laptop or phone and have access to Wi-Fi, you can work from anywhere, making it a pretty sweet gig and very appealing to those that want that flexibility. All right, so now that we are crystal clear on what online recruitment is, I want to give you a realistic preview of what an online recruiter actually does day to day. Basically, you will be looking for clients and you'll be looking for candidates. Obviously, at first, you'll probably be spending more time looking for clients because without clients, you don't need to look for candidates. At a certain point, you will have enough clients that you will be spending most of your time looking for candidates for them. So sometimes you're focusing on one more than the other. Other times, it's more evenly distributed. It really depends on which phase in your business you are. If you intend to one day build a team and hire online recruiters to work for you, maybe you will spend more time looking for clients and your recruiters will look for your candidates. It really depends, and at that point you can mold your business in a way that you enjoy the most. Okay, so you know what online recruitment is, and you have a good idea of how it can be done. But maybe you have some questions about the industry. Maybe you've heard of other people making a whackload of money recruiting online, and you've heard that that industry might be saturated or might be close to being saturated, meaning that there are enough people doing this already to fill the current and the future needs. I'm here to bust that myth wide open. The need for online recruitment is expanding with no end in sight. Think about it. The current labor market is tight. Have you heard that we're currently in a war for talent? There is an abundance of jobs and companies that are fighting for qualified candidates because, as you know, qualified employees can make the difference between success and failure for a company. Employees are what makes them successful. They're the ones doing the work and executing the vision. So companies need good employees, but job seekers have more options than ever. They can find jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, and a million other job boards. They have so many to pick from. So companies need you to scoop up the best employees for them. How big is the market exactly? Well, the global online recruitment market is predicted to reach $45 billion by 2028. What does that mean for you? Sure, there are other online recruiters out there, but the market is nowhere near saturated. In other words, the pie is huge, and you can definitely get your piece of it. How big of a piece, you ask? Well, let's look at some numbers, because if you're anything like me, the dollar signs will make things more concrete for you. Let's look at this example of how much you could potentially make recruiting online. So suppose you recruit in the IT industry. You charge a contingency fee of 20% of a candidate's first year salary, which is just a fancy way of saying that your client will pay you 20% of your candidate's base salary. And you work full-time, so roughly 40 hours per week. On average, you place 15 candidates in a year, which is in line with the average number of placements for an entry-level recruiter, so someone just starting out in recruitment. And let's say your candidates have an average salary of $70,000. You would earn approximately $14,000 per candidate that you place, which is 20% of $70,000. You multiply that by 15, which gives you $210,000. I'm going to pause here for a sec and let that sink in. Over $200,000 per year working online. Working when you want, taking breaks when you want, not driving anywhere, working in your pajamas, and not having a boss. Are you excited yet? Because those numbers really excited me. And I'm not throwing unrealistic numbers out there. Please do fact check me. You can Google how much freelance recruiters charge. It's usually between 15 and 30%. So 20% is actually somewhat conservative. And 15 placements per year is also on the lower end. So yes, these numbers are absolutely realistic. Now, I am going to put a disclaimer here. In this example, the recruiter made over 200K, yes, but at that level, they're more than likely also investing in tools to make their lives easier, like recruitment software to sift through CVs, or subscriptions to job boards to recruit more easily. They probably also have LinkedIn Recruiter, etc. So this $200,000 is not pure profit, but it shows you the potential. And don't get me wrong, money isn't everything. And honestly, the flexibility that this job has provided me is worth so much. But let's be honest, money is important too. In this economy where grocery prices are through the roof, gas prices are crazy, inflation is out of control, Yeah, money is important. And although, like I said, it's the flexibility and autonomy that drew me to this lifestyle, the money also provides flexibility and autonomy. It's because I make a certain amount of money that I can make my own choices, that I don't have to depend on anyone, that I can afford to outsource things like cleaning my house so that I can focus on what's important to me. So don't let anyone make you feel bad for thinking that money is important, because it is. Okay, enough about the almighty dollar. Let's dive in deeper. All right, let's get into it. Step 1, how to find your niche. You remember that your niche just means what you specialize in. In our case, what industry or profession you will become an expert at recruiting. I will add a side note here that it is not a requirement to specialize or to niche as an online recruiter. Some recruiters will recruit for just about any position and they'll never specialize. While that is definitely a road that you could take, I don't recommend it, and I am personally a fan of niching. Why? Because you will become an expert in that niche. You will get to know the jobs really well. You'll get to know the industry, the lingo, the key players. It just makes it a lot easier for you in terms of your learning curve. Instead of always having to start back up from zero and doing a bunch of research, you're going to be an expert in your niche as you become more experienced. Being an expert also means that you can charge more. All right, so hopefully I've convinced you that niching is the way to go, but how can you find the right niche for you? The good news is there isn't just one right answer. You would likely be able to find success in a bunch of different niches. But remember that you will be spending a considerable amount of time thinking about your niche, researching your niche, talking to people in your niche. So you should definitely choose one that interests you. One that you will want to learn about and be surrounded by. Once you've found one or a few that you're interested in, get to Googling. Research the trends. Look into the viability of this niche. Is it an industry that has been relatively stable over the year? Is it experiencing a huge boom where it's growing exponentially? Or is it actually declining? Of course, a booming industry can be interesting because it will mean that there will be a lot of clients and a lot of candidates. But you don't only have to choose a niche in a rapidly growing industry. I would, however, suggest that you choose something that is either growing or relatively stable, and maybe forego the rapidly declining industries if you're in it to specialize and have longevity. There's lots of other variables to consider as well. You can look into a niche's profitability simply by looking into data such as average salaries in that industry and how recruiters are usually paid for their services. For example, if you find that the average salary for your niche is $80,000 and you find that recruiters usually charge around 20%, that gives you an approximation of $16,000 per placement. All right, so once you've found a niche you like or even love, you've checked that it is viable and profitable. Next, you're going to look into your potential competitors. Look up other recruitment firms in your niche and your location and see what they're all about. Look up their websites, understand their business model and services. These are the people that you are going to be going up against. Another disclaimer, some of the recruiters I speak to get discouraged here because they think, oh, someone's already doing this. I won't even have a chance to get any clients in this area. Wrong. Having competitors does not mean that your niche isn't viable. It's actually the opposite. If someone else is making money in this lane, it means that there's money to be made. Look at the market share. How big is the pie and how big are the pieces? If there's pieces of the pie left, there's an opportunity for you. Finally, look into the demographics of your niche. Who would your ideal candidates be? Is it a new profession that would be recruiting new graduates? Is it emerging technology that people are just getting skilled in? Would your candidates be junior or senior? Would they be only in a specific geographic area, or would they be all over the world? Because the positions in this niche can be done remotely, etc. After you have done this research, you should be able to find your perfect niche. All right, let's talk about finding clients, which are basically the organizations that want to hire people. This was my absolute biggest hang up prior to starting my own business, because I had already been recruiting for a while, but the thought of having to find my own clients was so scary to me. It actually paralyzed me because I didn't know how to go about it. And when I did actually start trying to get clients, I tried a bunch of different ways that didn't always work. So I will give you the ways that actually worked for me so that you don't have to waste any time. The first way, and I really don't want you to underestimate this one because I definitely did, is networking. This means that once you decide to start online recruiting, you reach out to your current network and let them know. It doesn't matter if you don't know any recruiters or if you don't know anyone in your specific niche. Everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows something. You truly never know how far your reach could be if you don't put yourself out there. I used to be so hesitant to do this because I didn't want to put myself out there and then not succeed. But this mindset absolutely does hold you back. And honestly, most people will be rooting for your success. Also, you can join networking groups that are specifically designed for this purpose. There's also Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups that you can join. Obviously, what kind of groups or network you join will depend on your niche. Okay, second method is by messaging potential clients directly. You can do this by email or by sending direct messages via LinkedIn, which are called in-mails. Once you've found your niche and your desired location, you can look up the companies that operate in that space. A hot tip, you can look up companies within your niche that are actively recruiting. If they have jobs posted on Indeed or LinkedIn, it means that they are actively recruiting and you can absolutely offer your services. You can sometimes find their email addresses directly on their websites or on LinkedIn. The third method of finding clients is the good old cold call. This basically means just picking up the phone and calling potential clients and offering your services to them directly. I've personally found that when you are calling a company's general number, it usually works better to ask for a person by name rather than just asking for the HR department or the hiring manager. So prior to calling them, you can look up their company on LinkedIn and get the names of the people that work there. The last method to finding clients is to provide value to them even before offering your services. This may be more relevant once you get going and get some experience, but things you could do to provide value to potential clients, for example, is posting interesting articles on LinkedIn, answering posts on different group forums, etc. Basically positioning yourself as an expert amongst your potential client group. This is another pro of niching because it's easier to be seen as an expert if you're specialized in that area. All right, so you found your niche and you found your clients. Now the only thing that is standing in the way of you making your big fat commission check is finding your candidates to fill the roles that you have. So finding your client, their next employee. Does this task seem overwhelming to you? Let me reassure you, finding candidates is the main part of an internal recruiter's job. And when I say internal recruiter, I mean a recruiter that is working for a company. which makes sense because a recruiter that works for a company doesn't need to determine their niche or to get clients because, well, they work for that company. So basically what they do most of the time is find the right candidates for the roles that they have to fill. And did you know that recruitment is actually one of the entry-level jobs in HR? Recruitment is where a lot of people start their HR career because honestly, it doesn't take that long to become good at it. If you have the right tools, like once your interview questions are set up and if you get to know your niche really well, it really does become second nature. Okay, so this slide may look a bit familiar to the previous slide about how to find clients because honestly, the way you find candidates is very similar to how you find clients. The first thing I recommend you do is reach out to your network. Put your feelers out there. Join the relevant groups. Facebook and LinkedIn are awesome for this because they will often have industry-specific groups where people actually post their resumes and post that they're looking for work. The second method I recommend is actually posting the jobs. If you've ever looked for a job online before, you're probably aware of the different job boards out there. Some of them are free to post jobs, some cost money. And obviously the one you choose to post on will ultimately depend on your niche. The third method is emails or in-mails, the same as when you were finding your potential clients. The fourth method is by providing a great candidate experience. This means treating candidates really well, communicating with them, being super helpful, because as with any business, your reputation precedes you. You can also build relationships with candidates where you can end up placing them a few different times in their career. Yet another pro for niching. And once you place your candidate with your client, you can start collecting your commission checks. Now, I want to ask you, are you feeling more confident and ready to launch your own online recruitment business? Or are you still having doubts about your abilities to turn this into a profitable and sustainable business? If you're here listening to me talk, you probably have an entrepreneurial mind, but you may or may not have relevant experience or a relevant degree. And maybe you see that as a roadblock. I know that I hear that a lot from people hesitating to get into this business. They think they need to have recruiting experience or have a degree or have experience with the industry they want to recruit for. But the reality is that recruitment is often an entry-level job. It's often a job for beginners. Now, if I take myself as an example, yes, I've been doing this for a decade, but it's because even though it's easy, you can make a lot of money with it. And I am absolutely team work smarter, not harder. And those are the 3 steps to making money online as a recruiter. All right, so you may be wondering what's next. You might be super pumped and ready to get going, ready to get started tomorrow morning. You now know what online recruiting is, how you can make an amazing income while doing this and working from home, and making multiple thousands of dollars per placement. You now know the broad steps that you have to take, which is figuring out your niche, finding your clients, and finding your candidates. So if you want to get started right now, you have 2 options. You have option 1, which is to leave this masterclass with the knowledge that you've learned today. You have the framework. You can DIY the specifics by YouTubing videos, reading blogs, Googling, and piecing the information together to really figure out everything step by step. Now, I'm not knocking option 1. I did option 1. That is literally how I figured out my business, which was spending hours and hours on YouTube and researching on the internet. And you can absolutely have success with option 1. However, it does take considerable time. It took me more time than I would like to admit, and I also had a decade of recruiting experience under my belt at the time. So if you do choose option 1, just be ready to put in the time and be patient, because the results may take longer, because you're going to have to piece together the information and do considerable research to make sure you're doing things right. You also aren't always sure if the information you're getting is going to work, if it's been tested, or if it's just this random blogger that researched it themselves. So you'll be Frankensteining information together from different strategies that may or may not work. You also have option 2, which is to get my proven framework and support in order to create and launch your own online recruitment business. Option 2 will have you up and running within weeks. If you choose option 2, I will help you launch your profitable online recruitment business, just like I did for myself. You will benefit from not only my knowledge and experience in the field, but also you can avoid making all of the mistakes that I actually made myself when trying to piece this business together on my own when I first started. This is an A to Z framework where you will have support and guidelines for every single step of the process. It is the complete guide to going from having zero knowledge to running a profitable business as an online recruiter. Without further ado, I would like to cordially invite you to the Online Recruiter Bootcamp, where you will learn how to launch your 6-figure recruitment business from home. This bootcamp will enable you to be your own boss, to make your own schedule, to uncap your earning potential, and to be financially independent, and to design a life that you love. The Online Recruiter Bootcamp is my 8-week program that will give you the tools you need to launch your own profitable recruitment business. Yes, I said 8 weeks. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of time, but remember, recruitment is an entry-level position. And yes, like I said before, it would take a long time to scour the net to figure out all of the different steps to actually have your own recruitment business. But I did all of those steps, and I documented the whole journey. And yes, the irony is not lost on me that I spent 7 years in university to start a business that can be learned in 8 weeks. But hey, now I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So glance over at your calendar and look at what date it will be in 8 weeks. Take a second to imagine how different your life would be if you had an online recruitment business up and running by that date. How different would your life be? Let me give you a sneak peek into what the Online Recruiter Bootcamp actually is. It is an 8-week program where we will learn the recruitment fundamentals. We touched on this in today's masterclass, but obviously we will be going in more depth. Define and set up your business. Define your business strategy. Learn how to get clients and candidates. Learn how to screen candidates. Learn how to interview. Understand employment contracts and how to make offers. Dive into negotiating. Understand how to measure performance, and much more. The Online Recruiter Bootcamp is set up into 8 comprehensive modules where you will be fed all of the information that you need to go from 0 to 100. The video capsules are self-paced, so you can pause, take notes, go back, rewatch as many times as you want. Module 1 is the basics. You will learn the ropes of recruitment, fully understand your role and obligations. It's similar to what I teach my university or college students. You will have the foundational knowledge on what is required as a recruiter. In Module 2, you will learn how to define your business, and this will be particular to you and your preferences, but I will guide you through every step to define the type of business that you want to run. We will establish your competitive edge so that you know what you have to offer versus your competitors. We will create your strategic objectives and business, as well as define the services that you will offer to your clients. This seems like a lot, but there are templates and guides included, so the guesswork is taken out. In Module 3, we'll set up your business. We will talk about the tools you may or may not need. I know that for me personally, I didn't want to start investing into my business until I started making considerable money. So I will explain what tools you can and should use, like email and LinkedIn, and also let you know which ones you absolutely do not need at this stage. We will talk about the legal aspects of owning and running a business, because any and all businesses have a legal aspect to them. And finally, we will get into one of my favorite topics, which is money. So what pricing models you will decide on and how much you will charge your clients. This one is cool because then you can start doing some simple math and daydream about how much money you're going to make. Module 4 is all about clients. We will learn how to find them. I know I told you how to find them in the masterclass, but here I will spoon feed it to you. Where to look exactly, how to research them, how to approach them. I even pre-wrote the emails for you. I pre-wrote the meeting requests. I pre-wrote the scripts. I literally take all of the guesswork out of it. With this framework, you will know exactly how to approach them, how to prepare for your discussion, and how to look them up so that when you do speak to them, you get their business. In Module 5, you will learn how to define your recruitment strategy. There's nothing that complicated about recruitment, but recruiting the best talent that your client will pay top dollar for is a special skill. I've been doing it for a decade, and I have all of the tips and tricks. We will identify what you will be looking for, like the KSAOs, which is just the knowledge, skills, abilities, and other competencies that you will be searching for in the right candidate. You will learn all about the different recruitment methods out there from someone that has tried them all. And finally, we will build a candidate-centered approach so that you are a recruiter that candidates want to work with again and again. So not only will you be making multiple thousands of dollars when placing them, but they will refer their friends to you and they'll come back to you for their next career move. Module 6 is all about getting candidates, and this has been my bread and butter for forever. Anyone can post a job, but I will show you what to post. Not only will I show you, but I will give you my templates so that you just have to fill in your information. No need to go Googling everything and taking things here and there and hoping they work. Everything will be in the bootcamp. I will deep dive into how you can find these star candidates. And I won't just tell you. I literally film my screen showing you how to do it. It can't be more explained than that. I will also guide you on how to prepare and how to approach them. Again, with templates all along the way. In Module 7, we will go over how to screen resumes so that you aren't wasting a valuable money-making time. How to identify the minimum qualifications that you're looking for to give your clients top candidates. And we will get into the super important topic of interviewing. How to conduct interviews legally and without bias. How to conduct interviews so that you're getting the best results. And yes, you guessed it, you will have templates for all of this. I literally give you the interview questionnaires with the questions already written out and the scoring guide right in the bootcamp. Once you've found your client's dream candidate, you'd think it's time to party and start collecting your commission checks, but there are some last steps. In Module 8, you will learn how to draft an employment offer letter, how to present it to the candidate, and how to negotiate, because candidates these days negotiate. And yes, I will provide templates. I even provide scripts of exactly what you should say to the candidate when presenting the offer. So we've gone through the 8 modules that make up the 8-week online recruiter bootcamp. These modules include video lessons, computer demos, worksheets, checklists, and more, and are valued at $1,997. If you join the Online Recruiter Bootcamp, you will get lifetime access to the course and automatic accesses to future updates. That means that if down the road there are changes in the recruitment industry, or I start using methods in my own recruitment business that are working really well for me, I will update the course and you will automatically have access to that. If something happens in your personal life or for whatever reason, and you're unable to complete the bootcamp within 8 weeks, there's no worries. You will always have access to the course. Even once you finish it, you can always go back and review the material. This lifetime access is valued at $397. I have also included a ton of templates that I actually use in my business, which will save you a ton of time and money because you don't have to create them yourself or pay someone else to make them for you. These templates are valued at $797. I've also included step-by-step walkthrough demos of tools that will help you be the most efficient recruiter and make sure that your time is spent on money-making activities instead of inefficiencies. These demos are valued at $297. And then the Online Recruiter Bootcamp has a ton of other bonuses, like the contract templates you will need for your business, checklists to make sure that you're not forgetting any crucial steps, worksheets, and so much more. The total offering is valued at $4,979, which of course is not the cost of the Online Recruiter Bootcamp. But before we get into pricing, I want to explain what else you will be getting from the bootcamp because I decided to add in a bunch of bonuses. Let's dive into bonus number 1, which is all of the templates that I have included in the bootcamp. I have written out email templates for you to simply plug and play and send to your prospective clients and your prospective candidates. And I know that they work because I use them myself. I have included my own service offering template so you know exactly what I send out to my clients to let them know what my services are. And I've included a template for you to use. You can copy mine, which is tried and tested, or you can use it as inspiration for your own. I have added templates for sessions that you will have with your client once they've signed with you, where I am literally letting you know what questions to ask them so that you appear prepared and professional. I've included job posting templates as well as all of the templates you need to extend an offer to a candidate. This includes the verbatim words you can say to let them know that they got the job and get them excited, and also the written offer. Bonus number 2 are the demos that are included in the bootcamp. You will have access to a comprehensive demo of LinkedIn Recruiter, which is where I spend most of my computer time. I will walk you through exactly how to search for clients and candidates. It's basically a tutorial that is filmed where you hear my voice and see my computer screen. So you will know exactly where to click, what to write, and how to search. You also have a demo of Calendly, which is a free online appointment schedule software that you can use. Because once you start rolling, you will want to have a schedule set up so that you are efficient and not missing any money-making meetings. Bonus number 3 are all of the scripts that I have included into the Online Recruiter Bootcamp. A script is essentially what you need to say in a given context. For example, a cold calling script. So what you need to say to a prospective client word for word with common answers that they may respond and how you can answer them. I also included meeting scripts. So when you set up a meeting, you know exactly what you should be saying, as well as offer scripts. So you know how to make an offer to your candidates. Bonus number 4 are the interview questionnaires. So this is basically the questions you will be asking your potential candidates when you're interviewing them. These are the questions that I personally ask, and of course you can add more or take some out. I included pre-screening questionnaires, so the shorter interviews you conduct on the phone at the beginning of the process, and then the full interviews to actually choose the right candidate. All of the questions and scoring grids are there for you to use. There are a ton of other bonuses sprinkled all throughout the bootcamp. I literally thought to myself, okay, what do I use to do this successfully? And everything that I use, I put in. So you have a template for a recruitment agreement. So the document you send your client to officialize you working together. The employment contract template, a bonus of checklists to make sure you aren't forgetting something important, like a setup checklist, a service offering checklist, a social media checklist. There's also research worksheets to guide you in figuring out your niche and who you are as a business owner, as well as lists of Google searches and questions so that you can really narrow down your niche and the lane you want to be in as an online recruiter. In all, there are over 30 accompaniments or bonuses given to you within the bootcamp. So again, the 8 modules, lifetime access to the course, and automatic access to future updates, all of these bonuses that we just went through that will honestly save you so much time and frustration and money and avoid making costly mistakes or legal mistakes. All of this, which comes out to a value of $4,979. Like I said, this is of course not the price of the Online Recruiter Bootcamp. I did want to highlight the value as I truly did pour my blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and I am so proud of the outcome. But I know firsthand that when you're starting off with your own business, whether it's your first time or your experience in side hustles, I know the investment is an important factor in your decision. And I wanted to make this bootcamp as affordable as possible for you to be able to justify this investment that you'll be making in yourself and in your future. So I guess you're thinking, okay, enough yapping and let us know how much it actually costs to get into the Online Recruiter Bootcamp. Drum roll, please. You can get into the Online Recruiter Bootcamp, which will give you the complete framework on how to build your online recruitment business, along with all of the templates, scripts, demos, and everything else you will need to take out all of the guesswork of starting and building your own business with one payment of $697. You can also choose to pay in 6 monthly installments of $119. That means you can get started on your new business to be a stay-at-home entrepreneur, working for yourself and making 6 figures from anywhere you have Wi-Fi for less than $700. Or if you want to pay monthly for less than $120. But I know that even though this is an investment in yourself and in your future, and this bootcamp is jam-packed with value, entrepreneurial-minded people always appreciate a good bargain. So if you sign up for the Online Recruiter Bootcamp within the next 30 minutes, I will give you 20% off the cost of joining. So instead of paying $697, which honestly was already a steal for the value, you would only pay $557 or 6 monthly payments of $95. So getting started today for less than $100. And in addition to the 20% off discount that I'm offering if you join the Online Recruiter Bootcamp before the timer is up, you will also get another Masterclass bonus, which is the Online Recruitment Yearly Revenue Calculator. This calculator will give you your potential revenue as an online recruiter. You choose which industry you're interested in recruiting for, the location where you will be recruiting, and how many hours you wish to work per week. The calculator then calculates how much revenue you could potentially make. This tool is super helpful when choosing your niche, setting up your schedule, and making your business plan. So there you have it, the full package, the online recruiter bootcamp, where you will learn everything there is to know to go from zero knowledge in this industry to building your own recruitment business from home, making 6 figures from your laptop. My self-paced videos broken down into 8 easily digestible modules that you can pause and replay anytime you want and keep lifetime access to, which includes future updates. You will also be getting over 30 accompaniments, which includes templates, scripts, questionnaires, checklists, worksheets, contracts, basically everything that I have either built myself or paid someone to build for me and use in my own recruitment business every day. All of this valued at almost $5,000, I am offering at $557 if you join before the timer is up. You will also be getting the online recruitment yearly revenue calculator, which will guide you in terms of your revenue potential. You can join after the timer is done, but you will be losing the 20% discount and access to the revenue calculator. Thank you so much for being here. I can't express my gratitude enough that you attended this masterclass. It speaks volume to your commitment to yourself that you were willing to invest this time with me. I honestly hope that you do choose to join the online recruiter bootcamp, but even if you don't, you showed up today and you invested time into learning skills that could potentially change your life, and I'm so proud of you for that. I hope that you join and get the tools that will allow you to build up this business and design a life you love. Hopefully, you learned a lot in this masterclass and that you are inspired and ready to take action and grab this opportunity. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to follow me on social media. My name is Gina Ore. Have an amazing day.